absolute value function or modulus function or modulus absolute. So this two, they both are same. First thing is, whenever we take a value and take the modulus, that is these two bars, that simply means you will always get a positive number. That is, if x is greater than or equal to 0, if you take a number line, if you take any number 1, 2, 3 that is on the positive side of the number line, it can be real or it can be any number, you will always have the same number. So this is essentially behaving like an identity function, y equals x, for the positive side. For the negative side, it will again be positive. Identity function, it will go to the third quadrant, negative. So this modulus will give you always positive. So how to make this positive on the negative side? Because negative 1 will give you positive 1. So if you want negative minus negative 1.7 will give you positive. For that you have to apply a negative outside. Negative will be positive. So that is why we have a negative x here. That is why we have a negative x here to make it as positive. So y is equal to mod x, modulus of x. X can have any value. There is no restriction. Any value x can be taken. That is, it is not coming as 1 by x or anything root or 1 by infinite type, 1 by 0 type, anything of that sort. X can take any value which is possible. So this is, anything you give, you will get a positive value. That is altogether a different thing. But the domain, the value which x can take is the domain. That is all real number. That is negative infinity to positive infinity. All the values it is going to take. X can take any value. So the domain of absolute value function is all real number. What is the range? Whatever value is coming out of this modulus function will always be positive. It can never be a negative number. That means, what is the range? Y can take only positive number. From this function also it is clear. Why we did this negative x? Because if it is negative 2.6 or positive 2.6 or it is negative 36.19, always it will be positive. No negative will come out. That means the range y will get only get value which is positive always. So the real number, positive real number is the range of this function. So let me tell you again. The domain is a real number for absolute function or modulus function, and the range is from 0 to infinity. 0 is included here because 0 mod is 0. So how to make a graph? How do we graph it? Let me just take you to identity function because we have learned about that. Y equals x. Identity function. When we have identity function, it is a line which is called as a mirror line also. So if you put a 1, you will get 1, 2, you get 2, negative 1, you get negative 1, you get negative 2, you put negative 2, you will get negative 2. But here in the absolute or modulus function, you will not get the negative value. So this line will be, you can mirror it to the second quadrant, which is positive y value. Y will always be positive. It will never go to the second quadrant, third quadrant or fourth quadrant. Now assume that these blue lines are not there. We are just going to plot it and then I'll draw it. So we'll take the values of x and then try to find out the value of y. The function, let me tell you again, it is mod x. It will always give you x when x is greater than or equal to 0. It will give you a negative x. It is not giving negative x. It is going to give you x negative, and we have made it negative so that it becomes positive. For 0, it is going to give you 0. For x 0, mod will also be 0 because 0 is not negative, 0 is not positive either. Then let us take first the negative numbers or positive numbers. So if you take 1, x as 1, you will get 1. If you put x as 1, it will be 1. If you put x as 2, you are going to get 2. If you put x as 10, y will be 10, 3, it will be 3. Infinite, it will be infinite. always positive. Now negative, every value which you put negative, it will be negative or negative of that number. Negative or negative of that number will ultimately be positive. For negative 1, it is going to be positive 1. For negative 2, it will be positive 2. For negative 3, it will be positive 3. Okay? So now, let us try to find out the domain and range from here also. X value, our domain. So negative you see, 0 you see, positive value you see. So all the real numbers. Here, you only see the positive numbers. There is no negative possible here. So this is R plus, all the positive real numbers. So now let us plot them. 0, 0. X is 0, Y is 0. 0, 0. 1, 1. So for X1, this is 1. This is the second point. For X2, Y2, X3, Y3. Let me just number it also. So 3, for 3, it is 3. 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay. So we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Let me just plot it. Make a line here. Coming to the negative values of X. For negative 1, you will also get positive 1. Again get positive 1. For negative 2, you will get positive 2. For negative 3, you will get positive 3. Now again make a line. This is the graph of absolute function. This is your absolute value function.